Okay, Jessica, if you are ready, go ahead.
Okay, good morning to everyone. My name is Jessika Sylvana Marin Gonzalez. Today we are talking about a topic that is real and essential for human development and mental health. This is the emotions, and the title is What They Are and How They Influence Human Decision Making Across Life Stage. For today, this is the content, what are emotions, why do emotions exist, the human brain and emotions, emotion and decision making, children emotions, adolescents and emotions, adults and emotions, and why emotional education it matters. So, what are emotions? Okay, to start our presentation, emotions are complex psychological and physiological reactions that human experience in response or internal or external situations. They involve the mind and the body at the same time. Emotions are not just feeling; they have to include the thoughts, the change in the mind, facial expressions, and behaviors too. For example, when we are feared or hurt, start with beats faster, our muscles get tense. So this is how can we or brain becomes alert about something that it's happening and the emotions are in that kind of moments. Why do emotions exist? Okay, this is a excellent questions because emotion exists because they they help survive and they guide to respond quickly to danger, to build relationships, to love, to behaviors, to making decisions. So love motivates or take care of others too. Happiness reinforces positive behaviors and angers makers us defense of rights. This is alarm to protect themselves, difficult connection or easy connecting with another people and help to learning about emotions and humans can learning more about the behaviors. The human brain and emotions, it's about research, different research, and exactly this presentation is about Daniel Goleman. I don't know if you listening, but this is the guru about the emotions. So the emotions are processed mainly in the limbic system, especially in the amygdala. So this is why emotional reactions sometimes happen before rationally thinking. The emotional brain is faster while the rational brain is slower. This is the interaction explain why we sometimes make decisions emotional and not logical. Okay, emotions and decision makings. Emotions strongly influence, we make different decisions when we have a balance. They help us to choose wisely. However, when emotions are intense or unmanaged, for example, like anxiety or sadness, uncontrolled anger, decision making becomes impulsive and it's a risk about health. This is a moment for take a help for somebody or someone to help us in that kind of moment. The next explanation is about children's, adolescents, and adults because in different stage of our lives we take the decisions and we took that kind of decisions in with rationals, but in the same way that our brain it's growing. So okay, for example, heal children and emotions. In the childhoods, the emotional brains develop earlier than the reasoning. So children easily express like emotions like crying, louding, or tantrums because they are still learning how can be the emotions regulations. For example, sometimes children always cry and we don't know how we are take that kind of decisions, but they act based on what they feeling and but not what they think. In this stage of life, emotional education is early age helps children develop self-control and empathy. Here, let me see that we have different chats here. So adolescence and emotions. Adolescence is the most uh, intense emotional stage and is a big risk in our life because we have different change. One of them is the hormonal change and brain development, making emotions stronger and unpredictable things. So the teenagers often make decisions impulsively. I don't know if it is correct, but the word is when you don't think about it, but you only say what you don't want to say. For example, is like that. Because their limbic system is mature than the prefrontal cortex. So this is responsible for self-control. They explain behaviors about the taking risks, rebelling, or following peer pressures. Um, Sometimes emotional support during adolescence is essential to prevent risks or harmful decisions too. In adults and emotions or brain, it's more is growing, and we have times for this procedure. So in adulthood, the brain becomes more stable and people gradually learn to regulate emotions, although not all adults achieves why to do it. See, so for that kind of reasons, in this adulthood, we have more stress, anxiety, depression. The emotional balance is high and down, and the decisions in our personal lives at maybe poor. In this doesn't help us in the work and the relationships too. So, why emotional education matters? Well, this is a questions, or maybe a questions, a reflexive questions that I understood is that because in all the across all the life stage, emotional education is essential. We don't have education for that. We only learn it about each stage of our life, but learning. But when we are learning to identify,
Okay,
express, and
Jessica,
regulate,
time
okay,
is over.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay, now let's continue with the questions about Jessica's topic. And in this case, Glenn, you will start first.
Okay, so Jessica, my question is, how can we prevent emotional damage in our lives since we are child?
Okay, thank you, Glenn, for your questions. I think so that is really important because but for prevent in the childhood to don't get bad results in the adolescence, I think so that is understand why the kids, the boys or the girls, have different reactions. When we are in the childhood, always in the age of 2, always we cry for everything, right? But and sometimes our fathers doesn't understand why we are crying for everything. This is a good age for understand the I don't know how do you say in English. It's like los terribles 2 años. Okay, in that kind of age, we need to start to learning and to learn the different emotions. So in that kind of age, our fathers always, I don't know how do you say pegar, heat heat on our body when we are in a supermarket because we want a candy, and they always say no, but they don't explain why we don't have, why they don't buy this kind of candy. So we have to start to explain and explain and explain the child why we don't or why we can't in that kind of moment. This is an important introductions because when we have a good childhood and a good explanation about the moment, this help us to understand a little bit or behaviors. So when we are teenagers, we are rebels. Sometimes the people say that we are bad people, you are in a bad way, but they don't start to enseñar, to teach different ways of we can walk about it, but with them. In the teenagers always walk alone, and they need to walk with the fathers. So this is my answer. I don't know. I'm so sorry because I am a little nervous. I can talk in English all the time, so my level in the vocabulary and it is missing. So I'm so sorry for that.
Okay. Don't worry. I think all of us are understanding what you're saying. Juliana, you're next, please, with your question.
Hello, Jessica. I had a question about something you said in your presentation. Um, how does the amygdala influence our emotional reactions?
Okay, the amygdala is one of the important thing here because let me see. The amygdala is in the limbic system, right? And this helps us to take reaction about the things that is happening that kind of moments. So it's not rational thinking because first the limbic system is the I don't know how do you say the production of the growing is like the limbic system grow first and faster in the emotional brain than rational brain. That is the reason that the rational brain is lower, and this interaction explain why sometimes we take decisions about based or about feelings and know with the logic system. I don't know if I explain what are you kind of talking, why are you asking me?
Thank you for your answer. This topic
Okay,
is very interesting.
thank you.
Okay. My turn. Jessica, you are studying the languages, right? To be a teacher, right?
Well, yes, I this is a funny questions because I had a high level in English, but I study international business before to this career. But when I come back to Colombia, the only how do you say the only work that I find was a teacher. So I I study like a teacher, like a kindergarten, then like a primary, then like a secondary. But think so, because it's totally different when you are in a classroom than when you are in a conversation time. So this is totally different. So I think so that my speaking is slow, so I don't have things in like a talks in English. So I think so that I am we know how do you say losing my speaking English and my thinking
Okay,
English too.
losing,
So
perdiendo,
losing, yeah.
losing.
I think so.
Okay,
So
that's nice because my question is related to that because I see that you have the experience. Um, what are the implications of these emotions and feelings for a teacher?
yeah, this is really harm, and it's a risk that every teacher take in the classroom, because when we are uh, um, teenager teachers, it's like I don't want to do that. I don't have time. I didn't do the homework, and this is like frustration. This the emotion for us is a bad frustration. So you had a different reactions in the classroom, but you have to be you have to control it, because sometimes this can your reactions can be advantage or disadvantage too. So we are not in a company that make chorizos. No, we are in a school that we are we are a tool to help to create a different mind, different emotions too, different people that have different contexts, and you have to understand everything. So in we co- we we are we have be very patient. We have to understand the student context, the school, the pay. It's a lot of things that we have to do it. So the only um, advice that I can tell you, is be an open mind teacher, understand everything. Sometimes you have to be a I don't know how do you say exigente.
Okay, that's a word. Um,
Let me find
bien.
here. Exigente. Eh,
Yo sé que hay una, pero no me acuerdo. ¿Cuál encontraste ahí?
exacting, demanding, straight,
Demanding, could be demanding.
demanding with the homework, with the context, but not with the person. You have to you put the same shoes that they have in that kind of moment. Sometimes it's different, but when you are in the classroom and you start to know the student's life, you can say, my goodness, is a good career, but it's really demanding how to control myself too.
Okay, Jessica. Nice answer. Yeah, it has implication both for us and even the students. And so, Jessica, about the presentation, let's start with that. I mean, it was okay. I was not a fan of maybe of the colors. I found them like a little dark, too dark. I mean, it's not like incorrect, but I wasn't a fan of it. But besides the information, yeah, it was good. Like it has the text and the pictures combined, not only one of them. As you didn't like read the information from the text, because you know there are some students that read exactly or write exactly what they are going to say, which is not exactly the idea. So that was good on your part. Yeah, and no more. The presentation was nice on that part. Pronunciation. In pronunciation, I think we all of us understood almost everything. Maybe there were a few expressions or words that had mistakes. One of them, for example, was ansiedad. The correct pronunciation is anxiety. It's a little different. Um, in another word es la expresión de basado en tal cosa, ¿no? The correct pronunciation is based. Procedure. Yeah, and I got another one here, and it's the past form of learn, de aprender, la forma pasada. The correct way of saying it is learned, not like learned, you know? Yeah, that's the part in pronunciation. Almost all of us, when we are advanced in English, that we have more experience, there are not so much mistakes in a lot of things, but as small words or expressions that are not common, that we make the mistakes. Fluency. Fluency was almost perfect except for the parts that you were nervous. Because, you know, in those parts, you have to stop or think of the word, or there were fillers like normal, but something that we could improve. And finally, the grammar. In grammar, there were more mistakes than the other parts, especially in the use of the word choice en la elección de palabras. For example, in one of them you said a procedure, como procedimiento, when the correct word really, in that case, should be process. Es un proceso, no realmente procedimiento. The process. Another was in the use of plurals, because in one part you were talking about cambios, y tú dijiste diferentes cambios, but you said it in singular, different change. So it should have been different changes. Another example of that, but in this case, it is with adverbs, con adverbios, que estaba diciendo que fácilmente conecta o conectando, and you said easy connecting. And you know, the correct word should be easily connecting. Small things, but they are incorrect. And finally, this is my last note, is that when you are talking about the father and mother in general, like both of them, it's not fathers, porque eso sería el plural, no como padres, pero son hombres. The correct word, it would be parents for both of them, men and women. And that's it. Those are my corrections for you, my feedback.
Okay, thank you so much because this kind of comments